On everyone, welcome back to the channel. This video we are looking at the Thursday NBA slate. We have 9 games tonight. All-Star break is right around the corner, so a couple days left. So let's try to finish strong here. Yesterday I had to make a couple late pivots with some late news, but it was a super high-scoring slate. Ended up barely getting over the cash line in double ups on DraftKings late. Kyle Kuzma was pretty solid, it was pretty low ownership, and then like Dennis Schroeder did his thing. So let's get into this slate. So as always, appreciate you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Also, I'm giving away a couple of MLB season passes on Twitter. If you want to get in on that, the winner will be announced later tonight. Just hit the link in the description, or you can search my Twitter, and then you'll be able to see the tweet. I just tweeted out yesterday. So let's get into this one. As always, appreciate you guys hit the like button, subscribe, check out the website, check out Twitter, check out Price Picks, and let's get into it. Looking at the point guard options today, it starts with Damian Lillard. It's up to 10-7, who's been playing good. A lot of these guys probably have a lot of things on their mind heading into the All-Star break, but he's been a little bit cooled off the last couple of games. He's still been putting up decent scores. It's one of the best spots you could ask for, though, against Sacramento. There are the Kings on a back-to-back here. I think Lillard will be able to have a really good game. 10-7 is a pretty high price tag, so we'll see if we get some more value on the slate, which makes it easier to get him in, but right now I'm not really seeing it. Westbrook's been playing great basketball. It's against the Clippers, so tough defense. We'll see if Kawhi plays or not. If Kawhi's out, then obviously it becomes a lot better for Westbrook and Beal. And then Curry is 10-1. Kelly Oubre sat out yesterday with a wrist injury. We'll see if they just keep him out one more game and then just hopefully gets healthy in the All-Star break. So I think there's a chance he doesn't play again, but we'll see later. Right now, I don't think I'll have too much just based on the news, too much of any of the 10K plus guys. Fox looks pretty solid at 8,900. He's still kind of pricey. I liked when he was a little bit cheaper. Been getting to him a lot, but after that big price jump from 78, 77 up to 86, 9,000, that's just a really big price jump. I think you can look to like Buddy Hield, who's been playing a lot better recently. You can maybe look to like Harrison Barnes, even though he's already 7,000, so he's not that appealing, but he's been pretty consistent, and still without Halliburton, it's going to help the Kings, like the other players. The Raptors, once again, going to be shorthanded tonight. So look at Kyle Lowry, you look at Norman Powell, they're going to be the two guys that really command a lot of usage and a lot of the scoring. John Morant looks pretty good at 78. His price tag did take a big hike, though, so I think we can do a little bit better. Kyle Anderson is also back, so he's not that appealing. Drew Holiday's been coming off the bench. They might just do that one more time here and then put him back in the starting lineup after the All-Star break. We'll see. In the 6K range, my God, TJ McConnell had a performance of a lifetime. 8 for 8, triple-double, 16, 13, 10. Like, that was super crazy to see. Of course, it was against Cleveland, which has a couple of young guards, but still, nobody would think 10 steals against any team, especially for a guy like McConnell who comes off the bench. But he's been a really nice addition to the Pacers this season. He was with them like last year, I think maybe a year before that, but this year he's kind of taken a step forward and been getting quality minutes and been making some good production out of it. You might see some people go back to him, but I definitely will not be playing $6,000 McConnell. If there is no Butler, then you look to Dragic. If Derrick Rose is out, then you're going to want to play quickly because Payne is still doubtful, so that's a piece of news we have. Bledsoe's 54. If we don't get much other news, could be a decent mid-range, but I never really want to play Bledsoe. In the 4K range, if there is no Jeremy Grant again and no Josh Jackson, you definitely can look to like Dennis Smith, who had a triple-double last game. A couple of crazy performances from McConnell and Dennis Smith. Triple-double in just 27 minutes. Even with a couple of guys out, you didn't even cross 30 minutes. You saw Saban Lee play pretty well in just 20 minutes. We had the whole team played well. They dropped over 120 on the Raptors. We saw like Plumlee go nuts. The guy that didn't do that great was Bay, but they had even Rodney McGruder dropped a nice value piece off the bench. So we'll take a wait-and-see approach on some of that news. If there is no... if the Warriors are still without Kelly Oubre, they started Bazemore last game, so they'll probably do that again. We saw Damian Lee just get 16 minutes, so it didn't really affect him. And that's pretty much it for the value right now. So right now, and the Nuggets still really shorthanded again. But I think I'll stick with Kyle Lowry for another day. He played 35 minutes, was alright. I mean, definitely would have expected more out of him. was that game wasn't that close. He only put up 105, which is pretty surprising because even with missing Van Fleet and Siakam, I still thought the Raptors would be able to beat Detroit, missing Jeremy Grant and Josh Jackson, but was not the case. Now they're going into Boston, who have been decently good defensively, but overall they've been pretty poor on the season. So I think hopefully the Raptors can kind of have a bounce back game. But Lowry still looks appealing just because normally they're going to score a little bit more. Normally they're going to be a bit more efficient on offense, and Lowry's going to benefit with all these guys out. Shooting guard, did price of SGA is over 9,000. He's 9,000 exactly now, so not that appealing. Middleton's already priced up to 84. If there's no Kawhi, then we can look to Paul George, so have to wait on that piece of news. And Brogdon is 8,000. I'm not really looking at that price tag. I like Norman Powell still. He just gives you a ton of scoring punch. Without Siakam, without Van Fleet, is a guy that shoots the ball incredibly well on the season. He's shooting over 44%, shooting 90+% from the free throw line, almost 50% from the floor. This guy can absolutely put the ball in the basket, and that's what you want out of him. Even though he's kind of pricey, he doesn't get you a ton of peripheral stats. I still think he's going to be out there for like 35 to 38 to maybe even 40 minutes tonight. He's shown some big time ceiling performances recently, and like that, a lot of that was when Siakam was out and Van Fleet was in. Now with Van Fleet and Siakam out, still like that's gonna just help Powell a lot. So he's another guy that I like on Toronto. Other guys at shooting guard like Wiggins, even without Oubre, didn't do much. He's just not that fun of a player to roster right now. Buddy Hield's been lighting it up recently. He's a guy that is pretty streaky, so might as well catch him one more game before the All-Star break and get him to have another solid game here against Portland. He did play 42 minutes last night, so it's a little bit concerning with the legs, but without Halliburton, his minutes have jumped way up. The scoring has jumped way up as well. He's making a lot more of his shots recently, and Portland is a matchup that you like. Should be one of the higher scoring games of the slate. So 6,300, I think he looks a lot better than 7,100 Harrison Barnes, and he also looks better than $8,900 De'Aaron Fox. So he's probably my favorite piece on the Kings right now, just based on his price tag compared to the other guys. Moving on to still a small forward, looking at some other plays here in the 5K range. We have Will Bart and his 5,500. He had a really good performance. He is going to continue to play well, even in a blowout. He played 34 minutes. They are just down a lot of bodies. They don't have many other guys off the bench that play quality minutes. They have PJ Dozier played some minutes, and then they have like Hartenstein and Vlatko Cancers, who probably people never heard of before. A few days ago, he's been playing good, decent minutes because they are down so many guys. So he is definitely a piece that I like here. I'm going to go ahead and put him in at the forward spot just because he's really cheap compared to like some of the other pieces. I still think you can look to Jamal Murray. You definitely can look to Jokic, who's been a monster. And you can look to Michael Porter Jr., but I do like Will Barton. Like missing a couple of the backup guards like Campazzo is just going to secure his minutes. On other guys at small forward, maybe we can look at in the 4K range. If they are without Derrick Rose, and Alec Burks will definitely get a couple more minutes. He struggled with his shot, so hopefully he bounces back. And then the Grizzlies are getting Kyle Anderson back, so don't really like Bane that much. And then Winslow still looks fine at 4,100, but price tag is quickly getting up there. If there is no Oubre, then you definitely want to look to you can look to Ken Bazemore. It's 3,500, still really nicely priced. Going to see good minutes. PJ Dozier played 24 or 22 minutes off the bench. Some of that came in garbage time, but they are going to need any sort of help they can get off the bench right now. So at 34, he's still a guy that you can consider. Power forward options, it's Giannis, who I like if we get some more value. I don't really have much interest in Sabonis or Julius Randle at that price tag. I do like Zion a bit, but 93 is kind of at the price tag that I would like to get to that. Like all he's been performing recently, 51, 46, 49, 54. Basically kind of need that at this price tag, and if he falls in the 40s, then that's going to be disappointing. If we wanted to go in the 8K range, I really like DeRozan against OKC. He's been playing really good basketball. He only played 29 minutes because they won by like a boatload, like 26 or 26 points against the Kings. He only didn't play much in the fourth. They did put him out there. Pop did put him out there for a couple minutes in the fourth, so that was encouraging. But it was also a back-to-back, and we know Pop likes to rest some of his guys and didn't have to play him that many minutes. But in this one against OKC, who's been pretty surprising this season, playing better, especially with the still guys out on the Spurs. Rudy Gay is out. Maybe Aldridge, although he's been pretty garbage. Derek White's out. So still like DeRozan at 8,200. I think compared to some of the other power forward options, he looks pretty appealing. You can still look to Harrison Barnes, but I do like Buddy Hield a little bit more. Covington is in play at $5,900, but yeah, it's in play because there's not a ton of options, and the matchup is nice. And you could even play him at center if you wanted to. And then in the 5K range, Carmelo's been playing great. He's 55. He looks better than Jarek Jones, than Roby, than Clark. You can look at Bazley because I don't expect Horford to play. He's never been playing on back-to-back, so you can assume he'll sit tonight. And then we have Daniel Tyse is 51. He's not that appealing. He sometimes can get you 30, 35, but if they're all healthy with Kemba, Brown, and Tatum, it's just somebody I don't really get to. And Trey Lyles is probably worth a shot if there is no Aldridge again. His minutes will get a couple more secure minutes. He's been playing pretty decent. They put him in the starting lineup, and he's been playing a lot more minutes. 4,300 against OKC is a guy that we can look to. Finally, at center, we have at the top, it's Giannis and Jokic. I probably like Jokic more just based on the matchup. Giannis also looks incredible at 11,000. Wanted to go in the mid-range, we can look to like DeAndre Ayton at 6,800. You can look at Boucher. Maybe they jump him into the starting lineup. That would be a little bit more appealing. And then if there's no Jeremy Grant, then Plumlee's been getting a ton of usage without him. He's been incredible when Grant's missed. I think this is like his second triple-double that he's had when they've been without Grant. I could be wrong on that, but I do believe he had another triple-double earlier this season when they were shorthanded and back on the 14th of February. So he's only 6,400. Price tag took a hit. If there's no Josh Jackson and no Grant, then definitely look to Plumlee. He's going to be more of a facilitator and get a lot more usage because Grant takes a ton of shots. And then Nerlens Noel is 5,600. He played 38 minutes or 37 minutes last night or 2 nights ago against the Spurs. Was fine out there. He got 3 blocks. Still waiting for him to get a double-double. That would really help. Just not much of a guy that takes a lot of shots. Still think he's probably worth a shot at 5,600 unless I'm just waiting for some more news. If there is no Jeremy Grant, then I would bump Noel up to Plumlee. We'll see. So we'll see what happens by the end of the day. So definitely can go Noel. If you wanted to go Plumlee, we can plug Plumlee in. But I feel like I'll probably have Plumlee or Noel. Both guys look pretty good. Plumlee gives you more upside just because he facilitates and takes a lot more shots. But if there is Grant, if he's back, then that won't be that appealing. So we'll see what happens at the end of the day. But that's pretty much it for the DraftKings side. Go ahead and touch on FanDuel. All right, on FanDuel here, looking at the point guard options, it's Lillard. It's the only guy above 10,000. We have Curry. Then we have Russell Westbrook. I think out of the three, I'd probably lean to Lillard the most, then Westbrook, then Curry. DeJounte is already up to 87. That's not a price tag I'll definitely never get to, even though he's been playing a lot better. I like Lowry. I love Fox. I like Jamal Murray at only $8,000. I think he's going to have a pretty explosive game pretty soon. He's been great, and the lack of options for Denver just makes him look even better. Probably won't get to Walker or Drew Holiday, or Brogdon is pretty nicely priced at 67. And then we'll take a wait-and-see approach on Jimmy Butler, on Derrick Rose. That would affect Derrick Rose would affect quickly. It would affect Alec Burks. And then if there is no Josh Jackson, no Jeremy Grant again, then Dennis Smith would be somebody that we could look to. That's pretty much it if you don't think you need to go in the 4K range or the 3K range. So right now I'm looking at like still Kyle Lowry at 8,500. Shooting guard, it's DeRozan is the guy that I'm looking at. SGA is in play at 8,200. Do like Paul George. He's really nicely priced at only 79. If there is no Kawhi, even if there is Kawhi, he is really cheap at only 7,900. Buddy Hield is up to 64, but he's still a guy that we can look to without Halliburton. They jacked up Lonnie Walker's price tag above 5,400. Not a guy I'm looking at. Not looking at D'Anthony Melton either. Now that he's more expensive than Dylan Brooks, doesn't make a lot of sense. Quickly would be a first guy in if there is no Derrick Rose tonight. Definitely will start in that case. And then if the Pistons are once again shorthanded, like you can look to Svi Mikhailuk, you can look to Rodney McGruder, maybe Ellington. We'll have to see. And then it's Dort. And then Lou Dort is only $3,900. We'll see how he's been performing recently. Been pretty Lou Dort-esque, but still think he could be worthy of a shot at that price tag in tournaments. So out of this group, I still am feeling that Buddy Hield will stay hot for one more game, and I do like him at that price tag. Small forward, we can't really play anybody above 9,000. I don't really want to get too Brown. I like Ingram a little bit. I like Middleton. I like Powell. Barnes 7,000. Not somebody I'm really looking at. Definitely think we can look to Will Barton, who's still 5,600. He's still at a good price tag. In the 4K range, it's like Justin Holiday maybe, but not at that much appealing. Kent Bazemore's 42. He's not that much of a play. He's much better on DraftKings. So this position is not super deep right now. We'll see if we get some more pieces of news. So if I had to pick anybody, probably would go into like the 5K range at least and look to Will Barton at 56. Power forward, it's Giannis. It's definitely Sabonis now that his price tag has come way down to 9,200. Bam is also questionable. That would make Olynyk look a lot more appealing if he's not able to play tonight. Then Covington at 6,000 is a guy maybe worthy of a shot. And then I don't expect Al Horford to play, so Roby is only 4,600 against the Spurs. He looks like a guy that is probably going to be pretty popular tonight, but I think he looks good just looking at the position right now and looking at the fact that there's not a ton of options. I would look to Roby just because Horford never plays on a back-to-back, so why would he start now? And then center, Jokic is up to 11.6. He's the type of guy that if you don't have him, he can absolutely break the slate. If you wanted to spend down a bit, you can look to Cantor at 6,600 against the Kings. You can look to Joval at 6,800. I do think Cantor is somebody that's a little bit appealing at least. The minutes have been down on him recently, but Warriors don't play a traditional big for much. They have Wiseman in there, but like Green plays a lot of center, so they can put. They were running Wiggins at the 5 at times yesterday, but against the Kings with Bagley and Holmes, I think they would probably lean to go big. Jakob Poeltl looks pretty good at his price tag, 61. If there's no Horford, do like Noel a little bit, and then I think Plumlee's 6,300. So right now I'll just have Plumlee. If there's no Grant, if there is Grant, then we can go down to like Nerlens Noel at 55. Now that they moved him to center, he is probably not that appealing because you only got one center spot, but he gives you a lot of block upside, so he would be a guy that we can look to. And then if there is no Bam, then Kelly Olynyk is definitely appealing. That's pretty much it for this one. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Best of luck tonight, and see you all later.